Hello everyone, this is CJ with Cycletron. Well, if you notice the thumbnail or the title, Harley versus Honda, did you buy the right motorcycle? I want to discuss this on a couple of levels. First of all, from a personal standpoint, I bought my 2019 Street Glide Special 2 years ago, and at the time I briefly considered getting a Honda Goldwing, but for me, the Street Glide Special was everything that I wanted in a touring bike, and I've been very happy with that purchase. But I've noticed in the comments from some folks is they feel very passionately about the brand or particular model of motorcycle that they ride to the exclusion of everything else, which is okay for them. But I was just trying to really drill down on the idea of, if you bought the right bike for yourself, did someone else buy the wrong bike for them? And what really goes into the decision-making process for buying a particular brand or model of motorcycle. So this is where I wanted to start with my Street Glide Special. So for me, the key things for any given motorcycle, and there's so many to choose from now. I mean, let's face it, motorcycles are very, very specialized. So clearly there's two ways to approach this. There's the hard and fast analytical approach, and then there's the more, emotional or intangible approach to selecting a given type of motorcycle. So let's look at something that you can quantify. It would be maybe reliability, performance. Performance could be 0 to 60 acceleration times, stopping distance, lean angle in turns, maximum lean angle. So there's an article from a couple of years ago that ranked the leading motorcycle manufacturers in terms of reliability, and essentially if there had to be any type of repair in 4 years, what was the percentage of that incidence? And then obviously the fewer incidents, the more reliable it was, although they didn't really split out things that were really minor annoyances versus showstopper major engine type things. So you have all those factors that can really be objectively identified, and then you have other aspects of a motorcycle, like does it fit you? Is it designed for the type of riding that you want to do? And for me, this motorcycle clearly is. I ended up one time doing a 600-mile leg on a trip back from Texas. I didn't intend to go that far that day, but we were trying to beat a storm that was moving in, and doing 600 miles in one day on that bike was effortless. I mean, I felt fine. I wasn't fatigued, I wasn't sore, and really this is what this bike is designed to do. Now, I could have done the same thing on a Goldwing, but for me personally, I just like the character of this bike more so than the Honda. Now, do I think if someone bought a Honda Goldwing that they are misguided or bought the wrong thing? No, of course not. So you can think of it like you can almost put all these different variables into a computer program and spit out the right result, but of course no one buys a motorcycle like that because it doesn't make sense. So let's take reliability. If you want the most reliable brand of motorcycle, at least based on information from the last few years, you're going to buy a Yamaha or Honda. If you want to buy something that's more authentic in terms of motorcycle heritage, particularly in the United States, you're going to buy something like this. There's going to be things that are not quantifiable in terms of numbers that appeal to people more than others. The feel of the bike, to the extent it has vibration or sound, just the feedback that you get from a given motorcycle, how it fits you. So again, there could be no right choice for you that's going to be a right choice for everybody. And I know a lot of you feel this way, that, to each his own, let people ride whatever they want to ride, the more the merrier kind of approach. But I want to just drill down on this notion that, if you want a bike that's just all about performance, everybody be riding Hayabusas. If you want something that is going to be a great track bike, you're probably going to buy a 600 inline 4. Again, the bike has to fit what your overall riding goals are and what type of experience you want to have while riding. And again, because bikes are so specialized now, and you're just going to have some inherent trade-offs when you buy any given motorcycle. So what kind of brought this home to me was we bought a project motorcycle a year ago for me and my boys to work on. I was wanting to teach them how to do maintenance work and repair work on motorcycles. And I'll show you that bike here in a second. But what I found was, on paper, I should always want to ride this motorcycle. I shouldn't want to ride the other motorcycle while I have this, I'm lucky enough to have this motorcycle available. And I just found that I like riding that Yamaha, that old Virago, at least once a week, because it's a blast. And there's things about it that are just completely hard to quantify. And on paper, it wouldn't make sense that I'd even own that bike. But that's not the point. So what are your thoughts on this? Have you really thought about what experiences in your own life led you to buy a particular motorcycle? And are you inclined to think that people that may buy something that you consider to be a polar opposite on the wrong track for whatever reason? I mean, from a practical level, I don't think it's reasonable to expect everybody to ride the exact same brand and model of motorcycle. I think there's enough room for all kinds of manufacturers and all kinds of models, and again, to each his own. But again, the purpose of this video was really just to kind of drill down on, if I had a bike that was maybe third or fourth on the list in terms of reliability, would that scare me off from buying it? And the answer is no. Because I'm factoring in other things about the motorcycle and about the riding experience that's important to me. So again, what are your thoughts on this? I'll talk briefly about a couple of other bikes that led me to think this way. That, again, I'm lucky to have this bike. This is my main bike, but I've got a couple of Yamahas that we've restored here in the last year, and I ride each of those other bikes at least once a week. And on paper, I basically bought those bikes to get experience with my boys and working on bikes, and then flip them. And then I had so much fun riding them, I couldn't bear to part with them. And for what little money I have versus the enjoyment and the benefit I get out of them, it's worth it to me to keep riding those bikes. Now here's that 1982 750 Virago. That was our project bike a year ago. And it's just so much fun to ride. Now, the suspension isn't great. It's got a rear drum brake, so that it probably takes another 12 feet to stop at a given speed, but it's just so fun to ride. I mean, it's all stock except for the paint. My son used a can of spray paint from an auto parts store, a Chevy Orange, and we put a aftermarket Mack exhaust on it because that was the only exhaust available. In fact, we bought the last one. But this bike is so much fun to ride. Now, will I take it on a trip to Texas? No. But for around town, it's just a hoot. And I ride it at least once a week. And I really love this bike. So again, on paper, if someone were to describe this bike to me, in terms of it only gets 30 miles to the gallon, and it probably only has 50 horsepower, and the suspension isn't great, and the brakes don't stop the bike as quickly as a modern bike would. So, I'd say, no, I don't want that bike. Why would I get a bike like that? And then once you have a bike like this, for me, it's just an utter blast. And so we're keeping this bike. So I just wanted to kind of compare two drastically different bikes. And again, with just about any modern bike, you're not going to go wrong if you really understand what it is that you like about riding and the type of experience you want to have. And then I think it's only logical to think that everyone's going to have different reasons for picking a particular bike, because they're going to have their own type of experience they want to have on a bike, which is just going to be different. So again, What is it that appeals to you about your bike? Are you happy with the choice that you made? Did you have to go through many different bikes before you really understood what type of riding experience is important to you? So please let me know in the comments. And again, thanks very much.